This is one of the best times to be in tech, because the speed at which technology is transforming.
Correct.
We bring out product releases every month. We dabble, as you said, in AI. Our platform is entirely powered by AI, but we like to call it AI plus human. We have something called cursor AI. The speed at which you can write and build code is much faster. But you also need that human. So what does that human bring into the equation, right? We need to have people with consultative mindset. Behind the scenes, if you stay behind screens, it is comfortable, but growth never happens when you're in a comfort zone, and you really cannot build culture if you're going to sit behind screens, right?
Hello and welcome to Mint Techcetra, your go-to podcast for everything tech and business. I'm your host Kartik, and today's episode is all about how India is not just powering delivery, but shaping the future of fintech innovation. We are spotlighting Zafin, a global leader in relationship banking technology, and how its India team is becoming a strategic growth hub for engineering, product development, consulting, and AI. Joining us is Suja Chandy, who is the Managing Director of Zafin India and the company's Global Chief Sustainability Officer. Suja has spent her career scaling global innovation hubs, driving digital transformation, and building empowered teams, and she is now leading Zafin's next phase of growth from India. Suja, welcome to Mint Techcetra.
Great to be here, Kartik.
Well, so many accolades, and you have done so much in life, and now that you're a managing director, and I hope those souvenirs are shining brighter day by day. I hope this conversation gets more fruitful with time, and I hope all the listeners who are going to watch us, who are going to listen to us, enjoy this conversation. So it's a pleasure to have you on this podcast.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Suja, first thing that I really want to ask you about Zafin is because I'm very particular with what organizations do. India as a country has a major strategic role, and whenever we talk about India, it's certainly becoming the talk of the town, not just within our country, but in the neighboring countries as well on a global map. And when we talk about Zafin, Zafin has deep roots in Canada as well, but it's increasing its positioning in India, and right now you are leading the team in India. India is at the heart of its innovation agenda at this point of time. What's driving the shift towards the Indian market, and why India is becoming the talk of the town?
Right. A great question to start off with. We have Canadian roots. We are headquartered in Vancouver, in Canada, with offices in 3 cities across Canada. But we have a sizable presence in India. And, we did start in 2006. So India is not new for Zafin. It was always part of the global vision and the global strategy. Just that there is a lot of growth happening, and a lot of it is coming in obvious reasons as well, in terms of the depth of talent, the depth of quality of talent that allows us to innovate, build products end to end, and also leadership, because we not only produce great product managers or folks who build products, we also have people who lead big initiatives, whether it is learning, ESG, and other things that are very critical to our success and growth. So that being said, India, we call ourselves One Zafin. That is how our CEO likes to call it, because it's all about offices and people coming together for the greater purpose and building products that helps the banking industry.
Well, Zafin India stands out, and not just Zafin India, our country has actually seen tremendous growth, because there have been times when we were dealing with pandemic. Right after pandemic, when things got opened, everyone was quite understandable on a boat where they were feeling that, it's high time to be back in offices now. It's high time to give up on those hybrid work cultures and get back to the place where we actually belong. That's actually a cubicle, and most of the people were actually caught up in those Excel sheets, the rectangles of those Excel sheets. With Zafin India standing out of the picture, there is obviously product development that is happening, there is customer enablement that is happening, and then there is cloud, that is AI, and then we are living in a world of analytics and artificial intelligence. What kind of talent is Zafin India looking out for?
Yeah. This is one of the most, I think, best times to be in tech, because the speed at which technology is transforming.
Correct.
We bring out product releases every month.
Okay.
Right? That's the unreal speed at which we are doing it. We dabble, as you said, in AI. Our platform is entirely powered by AI, but we like to call it AI plus human. So
AI plus human, that is the need of the hour.
Correct. We have that part
Correct.
is it's very significant part, right? And what does that mean? That means that human needs to translate into talent, and what we like to call elite talent. And what does that mean? We're not just looking for technical skills or functional skills alone, right? In a world that is driven by AI and fast changing, we're looking for people that brings a little bit more, right? So it could be storytelling, it could be a holistic thinking, it could be other streams outside of core, engineering coupled with core engineering, right? So it's and what we look at is whether it is technical consultants, functional consultants, solution architects, cloud operators, cloud engineers, site reliability engineers, AI analytics. We hire in all of those different functions and domains, and plus of course domain experts, because we are in the domain of banking. And so we do have that as well. But what we are looking at is really people who like to build things, who like to think beyond technology, because right now in our organization, we use AI tools, right? So we have something for the technologists and the coders out there, or the engineers out there. We have something called Cursor AI. It's a code editor. What it does is, it can, the speed at which you can write and build code is much faster. But you also need that human. So what does that human bring into the equation, right? We need to have people with consultative mindset. So just hiring for the skills alone is gone. We are looking at more holistic hiring right now, a more comprehensive set of skills that they need to bring to the table.
When you rightfully said that, AI is certainly becoming everyone's, partner in crime now when it comes to work. And there are very few people in the leadership position who actually say this thing that you emphasized on, that it's AI plus human. So you're actually looking out for talent, and then you're also working with AI. Plus that AI also needs a human to work with that software. And that actually makes Zafin really different from other fintech companies and other SaaS companies. When we talk about impact and innovation from India was always, I still remember in my history books, India was one of those countries which was actually called the land of snake charmers. And now we have reached to the dark side of the moon. Zafin contributing to fintech is something that is completely impeccable. You're using all of those, major tools that are actually the need of the hour, whether it's cloud, whether it's AI, whether it's analytics, and then, of course, the elite talent that you talked about. There are some breakthrough solutions that we're reading about Zafin when we were off air and when we were preparing for this podcast. It's Zafin IO and Zafin Deal Manager, which has a strong cloud native and modular design. So can you share how teams in India, specifically, because it also has Canadian roots, how team in India are actually contributing to such innovations?
Yeah, fantastic question, because these two, the ones that you just named, Zafin IO basically is an integration platform. What does that mean? It means, in simplified terms, it means that banks that are modernizing, they can connect. This platform helps connect the old systems with the new systems without disrupting the core, right? Or deal manager, which breaks down or which manages complex deals or complex client deals for the bank by automating pricing, or by creating process workflows, approval workflows, or performance tracking through AI, right? AI powered platform. So these are things that it does. And what is happening is, I'm very proud to say that in India, we are actually building this product. There are teams that do end-to-end. And of course, at the end of the day, what we say One Zafin is also about collaborating. So our, Chief Product and Technology Officer may sit in Canada, but, he works really closely with the teams across the globe. We have more than 8 locations across the world, with most of the development happening between Canada and India. So we have this thing called Follow the Sun. So teams work together where when India wakes up, they have enough information to start building.
Correct.
And when India goes to bed, the Canadians or the folks in the American side are starting to do the work.
So the timeline is being covered 24 hours.
It's been pretty much covered, but I'm very proud to say that the teams working specifically on Deal Manager and IO are mostly based out of. So we are hiring for people here who build end to end. So that's happening right out of our Trivandrum and Chennai office, and something we are very proud of.
Well, the times when we were studying and we were about to get graduated from our respective colleges, our parents, especially the brown parents, have this slight notion of saying that you need to make a career which is very stable, which is financially very pleasing. And from Zafin universities to internal mobility programs, there are a lot of things that you guys have been doing, and it has a lot to do with your talent, the internal talent, a lot of employees that you hire. So how are you actually polishing those talents? Because there are n number of USPs when we talk about Zafin compared to other fintech companies or SaaS companies. How is Zafin actually preparing its own internal talent when it comes to, a real career trajectory or real career growth?
Right. And this is one of the biggest one of the challenges as well as an opportunity that we currently have, right? While we have traditional ways of skilling up our employees or training them on our products, which is what we have an LMS platform called Zafin University. That's the traditional bit, right? That we actually do give access to our partners and clients as well, because they need to be trained on our Zafin products. However, right now with the coming of AI and where we are living in an AI age, that is not enough, right? We need to, and where I mentioned before, like we have product releases every month. So how do you keep new joiners to our organization and existing staff up to date and skilled or reskilled whenever we need to?
Correct.
For that, we are again literally thinking of ways to embed AI into that process. In fact, we are currently working on a model that will accelerate impact. That is what we like to call it. Because again, we are an organization that hires, but not by the thousands, but we are very picky when it comes to talent. Because we look at like smaller numbers, right? But who comes in really needs to come in and start building or start impacting or interacting with the clients. So when we look at AI from that perspective, one interesting thing is I mentioned that we have AI tools. One of the things is Zafin just signed or is partnering with OpenAI. So which means that we have enterprise ChatGPT accessible to everyone in our organization. And when I say everyone, it literally means like, if you join Zafin, day one, here's your access, right? You can sign in with your email ID. And what that does to you is we are able to use AI to keep personalized learning paths, right?
Correct.
So, or role based. So if I'm joining as a product engineer, my idea is I should be able to go in, say, how do I get around? What do I need to do? What is the systems that I need to do? I should be able to ask GPT, which we are creating. So we are creating GPT. So there are pre-sales GPTs, there are learning GPTs. There is a GPT for, and as a sustainability officer, I should mention this, we have something called Zafin Responsible Action. That's a GPT where, if you want to know what we do, the kind of initiatives that we roll out, what is our scope 1, scope 2 emissions, ask the GPT first, right? It will give you that answer. And then you have the human layer saying, yes, that is correct, or additional, and that is the value add, right?
Correct.
So it's exciting times, learning, you have to constantly at any level, you have to keep at it. You have to, as I like to say, learn, unlearn, relearn, and that's a cycle. It continues. So, and we are testing. It's not that one model is right. So we have to also be smart about it and keep constantly changing it.
Correct. And Suja, whenever we talk about employment and whenever we talk about talent these days, the traditional ways of working have just vanished. They are out of the picture now. People across different domains are now working according to their respective interests now. People who are associated with the medical profession or an engineering profession, they are coming into a creative field. People who used to be a part of the creative field are now moving towards technology because that is actually the need of the hour. We talk about purpose, we talk about culture, and we talk about belonging with the new employees who usually enter in our respective office. And they're very keen on knowing how is the culture of this office.
Yeah.
Is it toxic? Is it going to be really, will we push our working hours a little too much every single day? With Zafin integrating all of these technologies with employment and with talent, there is a new office like you described, which has opened in Trivandrum.
Yeah.
And I hope that a lot of people are going to barge inside that office looking out for opportunities.
Yeah.
So what will the future employees are going to expect when they reach Zafin India office?
Yeah.
When it comes to culture, when it comes to belonging, and when it comes to purpose-driven programs?
Right. I mean, for any company's success, right, you can build great products, but if you don't have the right culture and the right talent, then it's going to be a moot point, right? So we are, right from leadership to all the way, we are very particular about the environment that we create within Zafin. So we have these core values that we talk about always, and it is written all over the, if you can walk into a Zafin office, most of the times you will see that somewhere. It's things like, transparency and innovation and customer focus and simplicity or simplifying, and most important, care. We care. So we care about not just our customers, we care about our own people, our stakeholders. And what does that mean? Those values translate into, just before the show we were talking about wellness and how important it is. And we are in this industry which, typically it runs outside of that 8 hours. Sometimes it does extend, right?
Yeah.
But how do we create environments that still think about wellness at its core? So when we built this new facility in Trivandrum, it's a 24,000 square feet, state-of-the-art, beautiful office, we put people at its core and sustainability. And we said, how can people, come back to the office? And one of the things we did at Zafin is, after COVID, we have never forced or mandated that people. And that was an ask, from the leadership. It was like, we encourage, because you're coming into an office where you want to come into the office and work with others, because I'll tell you, behind the scenes, if you stay behind screens, it is comfortable, but growth never happens when you're in a comfort zone, and you really cannot build culture if you're going to sit behind screens, right? So we encourage people, and we now have a thriving office, right? Not just in Trivandrum, but also in our Chennai office. And we always look at ways to see what is it that we can do differently to create a better employee experience. And for us, it's not just the employees. So even if you're coming in for an interview with us, we are very particular of the candidate experience. Whether you join us or not, when you go out of that office or you meeting us and going out, you have a very good impression of what it is, right? And we are very proud to say that we are 6-time winner of Great Place to Work in India.
That's wonderful.
As well as Canada, and we are a great place to work for women as well. So very proud of all of this, and it's an absolutely fantastic place to be.
I haven't seen a senior management person, especially a managing director of a company, talking so poisely in such a calm tone, because we have seen people in corporates, right? I mean, we have seen people, scratching their heads because it's all deadlines, it's all projects, it's all clients, it's all leads. When we talk about Zafin in particular, there is obviously employer brand vision that comes to my respective mind. And I would love if you could shed a light on this. If I ask you this one particular question, what is that one Zafin story that you would actually like to, tell someone who is considering to join Zafin, whether it's going to be in tech, whether it's going to be in design, or whether it's going to be in consulting? What's that one Zafin story that you want to tell each and every new joinees or fellow joinees?
I have many stories, but I don't think we get the time for that. But I would like to put a few things in their mind, right? If someone is looking at opportunities in fintech and you want to work on cutting edge technology, or with an organization that allows you to think a little further, and who brings a consultative mindset, right? And who likes to tinker and get their hands on, and who asks questions and curiosity, and who has curiosity. I think that really helps, because one of the things we do encourage in our organization is ask questions, right?
Correct.
The more you ask, or ask GPTs, or ask someone, but you should always have that mindset that is open and want to learn more. I think that is something that is very, very important for us. And you also, while learning and asking questions, you should also listen, because at the end of the day, you also listen what the customer wants, what the client wants, what do people around like, what is the product good for? Because really, a lot of it now, and at the speed at which AI is going, things are going to just exponentially, or accelerate, right? That speed is going to be there. So what is that additional value that you're going to be bringing, right? What is it that, and there are multiple things. So if you like all that sounds good to you, and you come into a cool place, right, where you get to work with some of the brightest minds and good people,
correct.
Then please apply, look up our careers page, or write to us at elitetalent@zafin.com. Sorry, I'm plugging it right now.
Not a problem.
You gave me a question. So
my next question is going to, I don't know whether it's going to be daunting. I mean, it's going to daunt you or not. But before we wrap up this podcast, I really want to ask this one particular question. It's coming personally from me, because now that you have told about this thriving new office that is being built on Trivandrum ground, you as a managing director of an organization which is doing wonders in the world, and being a sustainability officer, everyone feels that people who are serving in the upper management or in the leadership position have very strict routine. They don't have time to even breathe. They don't have time to actually go out and spend those fun Friday with their employees. What do you do in your free time?
Okay. That's a good question, right? Because sometimes you need to learn how to breathe, because we are so caught up in what we do. And if you enjoy what you do, then, it becomes even more, it absorbs you. But there's a lot of other things that we do as well within the organization. Like today, this morning, we have a WhatsApp group, and we were looking at it, and we have a football team called Zafin FC.
Wow.
And they just
I
won,
certainly want to join that team.
Right.
Can I apply? Please let me
please.
know.
If you play well.
I do, ma'am.
But the idea is that, we take time out to refresh ourselves. So it could be sports. I'm a big believer of, you play something, right? Like you really put out there, you get your adrenaline going, and you get your right hormones coming through. That is very important. So I do that. I listen to radio. So I have to check out yours as well.
Please do.
And a lot of music. And, these days it podcasts take over. But you have to find your own thing. And I do that. And then, of course, when I get time, relax with my family. I think that's the best way to, and bake. Which I've not done in a long time.
Anything for food. I mean, I'm sold. I'm certainly sold.
Yeah. But you have to come down to our office, whether it's Chennai or in Trivandrum, to experience all of this.
I will certainly do. From engineering world-class banking solutions to investing in people, purpose, and innovation, it's clear that Zafin isn't just enabling transformation, it's leading it. Suja, thank you so much for sparing your wonderful time and for joining us and sharing such wonderful insights. And I hope the people who are going to join you in future are actually looking forward for all of these small nuances and these pointers that you actually share, which is actually making your company grow every single day. So thank you so much for sparing your wonderful time and having such beautiful conversation. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Kartik, and thank you to the Mint team for having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Mint Techcetra for more stories at the intersection of technology and business. Until next time, stay secure, stay smart. This is your host Kartik, signing off.